there's very few voices out there who are speaking for what the common man wants and what the common man is looking for out of this. There are uh, some names that pop to mind. Some of them we've even worked with before. Uh, Shaw from This Is Shaw. He's out there talking all the time about the divorce and child support stuff because he worked in that industry. He understands it inside out, and that's exactly the kind of stuff that we talk about. But other guys, I would put even guys like Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams has this concept of the after pill. It's kind of like, okay, what do you do after you've taken the red pill and accepted it? Like, what are you going to do with it? And he's trying to sit here instead of just getting caught in the red pill rage phase. He's saying, okay, but how are you as a man going to continue progress out of the red pill rage phase? We haven't worked with him, but and then you've got people like even Pearl, who Nick was on with last week, who I would call Pearl more of a men's rights activist than anything else. She is out there. I mean, she's using all of the red pill knowledge, but she's actually advocating for specific things. She had Baskerville on recently. That was a great interview, guys. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Even guys like Donovan Sharp, they're kind of he's more in not as much, and he still has lots of ties into the older school red pill, but he is married to Devin. Now again, it's they did not go the church route, and I don't blame him. But he does these reviews, and he does this Pop the Balloon show, which is as a dating show review. So he's worried more about the relationship side of it too. So it's not like these voices aren't out there. And I wanted to run through kind of a list of different voices at some point so that all you guys out there could hear that you're not alone, that the red pill hasn't forgotten about you. We're here, but I will agree that we are not the popular voice. And I would go so far as to say is that more pickup spinning plate side was made popular by people who want to attack the red pill. They were set up because they're such a juicy target. Just like are you, Steve? I know you're old enough to remember, but there's probably a good chunk of our audience that isn't old enough to remember when the PUAs were being vilified. This would be like early 2010s. They were being run up the flagpole left and right in the media. So there's always been a component of the red pill or whatever you want to call it from whatever era it's been that's been vilified by the media. That's just part of the territory, but that doesn't mean that there aren't men out here who are advocating for things that you as men.
It's just part of the territory,
Hey, Nick.
You're not alone.
Yeah. You are not alone.
Nice you could join us.
Yeah. Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys.
So, Nick, have you been listening?
Oh, for here and there, that's bad. I got some bad connectivity right up until where I get to my location. So,
okay.
I barely can.
Just wondering if you were up to speed on what we talked about.
Hell
no. Okay.
I'm listening.
So
the next one, okay, we talked about the different approaches, the purposes of the red pills. One, our group is focusing on solutions, how we can have a long-term marriage and make that successful for a lifetime. Or maybe we don't even achieve that and we don't have a woman like you and I, Nick. Whereas the other side is the spinning plate side. One common theme, we all talk about accountability for women, the topic of accountability, and how women like to avoid accountability. So, what's the solution for the spinning plates guys versus our approach to accountability for women?
Well, I would say for the spinning plates guys, they have it pretty easy. Ditch your ass and go get another one. I mean, I think for the long-term guys, it's, I don't want to say harder, but it's very likely more involved process. And if you're in a marriage relationship and the state gets involved, then yeah, it is harder. I don't know, Nick, what would you add to that?
So for the long term,
Yeah. How does the long-term side apply consequences to women in your mind?
well, you have to I don't think they do a good job, but as I mentioned the other day on a Pearl show, is you have to realize, yes, you want a traditional marriage, but you don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist as soon as somebody hits the delete button or wants to leave. What
Yep.
I'm saying is that when somebody wants to leave, you're done. You can't keep it together.
Well, I've advocated for
So have a good exit strategy pre-planned.
well, yeah, and I've advocated for not fighting for it too hard. Just kind of frozen, let it go. Just if they want out, let them go. I don't know, Nick.
Look, I tried for me. I tried.
Didn't work.
Like, I still got blamed, but yeah,
Well,
it's always me and bad. But
you have kids, I don't. But this is a question for you. Do you think that it would have been better for your kids to have not gone through the horrible divorce process?
yeah.
Okay. So that's an interesting thought process. Ejecting the woman quickly,
Yes.
can be a net benefit to your children.
Yes.
Okay. That's
so
a
in
point.
General, women no custody.
Well, but that's a point that
let them do it. Let them do what ancient women had to do when they wanted to be shitty. They had to be hoes.
Well,
Bring it
I
back.
mean, yes.
That's the
Well,
only agency. Bring it back.
What do we say? They're for the streets.
Yeah,
If she wants to be for the streets,
let her be for the
The
streets.
partial solution that we came up with is something that needs to be applied before men have the knowledge or wisdom to apply it, which is your behavior from the beginning. Frame control, keeping the authority, making prudent decisions about, no, the house is in your name, your bank account is in your name.
mm-hmm.
Can be a joint one, but keeping that authority and then outlining the consequences of her bad behavior
in advance. I do that with
in
Elena.
advance. So, but
you will not find this in
are we going to
any
get men to
conservative
do
church.
that?
No, and by the way, the churches advocate the opposite. They facilitate the cuckoldry, the emasculation of the man, the ruination of his frame.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
We're not
We'll
saying
talk
they
about
don't.
that Wednesday. A little bit.
Oh, that's what we're doing on Wednesday. Okay, that'll be
A
fun.
little bit, yeah.
See,
It'll
but
bleed into that. So
that's why we talk about this. We talk about these things and expose what's going on in the churches and why it's wrong, counterproductive, and really anti-Christian. And
it is.
we developed and articulated the concept of love and trust are two different things, but young men always put them together. I love her, therefore I trust her.
Oh, hey, and I always say, but if you love your wife, you're supposed to trust your wife. It's like, oh, you love me, then you have to trust me. And I'm like,
My personal favorite is, why don't you trust me?
track record doesn't add up.
Yeah, and I have been accused recently of not trusting Elena, to which I have to say, you're right, I don't. and she
Well, you have
knows
some
that.
trust. You have
Well,
some
right.
trust, but it's not like a complete
Right,
ignorant
exactly.
trust.
It's well when they say it, they always do it in the form of a question. Well, why don't you trust your wife? The implication being that whatever I'm talking about, clearly I don't trust her, and clearly that's bad, and I should just have given her unconditional trust.
You need to. I think here's the answer we got to tell men. Flip it around on her. If you love me, you will trust me to make decisions for this family.
Yes.
If you love me, you will trust me to have my bank account with my money in there to use for the best purposes for my family.
So all the new trad wives just checked out, Steve.
Yeah. Yep. There goes our viewership numbers, right?
Oh no. Oh, did I piss off the women again?
They thought that scheme would work this time if they played the purity card, the trad wife card, right? Separate bank accounts.
No, Nick, you're supposed to step up and defend them from. You're supposed to tell us we're wrong.
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Had the funeral.
You're not buying that anymore. Come on, Nick. Come on, man.
No. Well,
Right.
the husbands historically always controlled the finances, except in with like certain extreme circumstances. But yeah, it was they didn't have so-called joint bank accounts. No, it was the husband's control. The husband a lot of the funds. The husband could take out credit. None of this bullshit. Because who has most of the credit these days?
Oh, I mean, debt, women.
Or way too much debt. I mean,
yeah, we actually I mentioned that earlier. There was
okay.
I sent in the private chat. I sent this guy or this woman. She's doing like a tax review, and she is this I think is actually demonic. She's 2 years behind on taxes, almost 3 years, and she only makes like $40,000 a year, and she's got more like 3 times that in debt, 36% interest rates, and she wants to have another kid for the tax breaks.
Well, it makes
My
perfect
opinion,
sense
No.
to me. Because women
it should be
seem
like
to
the
always
last thing
think
on her
the
mind.
solution lies between their legs.
true,
Yeah.
they do. But my opinion, that's actual demonic behavior. I'm going to pop out a kid for the sole purpose of getting a financial benefit from it. Do you think she's going to take good care of that kid? Does anybody honestly believe that?
No.
Okay.
That's why you have them knocking crap over at Walmart.
Right. But we are supposed to sit up and defend this behavior because it's good for her. It's good for women. Like what? No, I am not going to defend that behavior.
Stop simping.
Yes, stop it. And she does have a guy who actually pays most of her bills. That was the other. And I'm just sitting here going, this is what this woman, I'll guarantee you that if she's not a Christian, she will discover it soon. And she will just roll the church. It doesn't, I mean, this is obviously a tax advice show, but so it doesn't come up. But if she isn't, she will be soon. Why? Because that's the next step in the grift. Go get your purity card and go get the church to tell a man to wife you up. Oh, and she wants to have kids, right? So, I mean, that's another, the church would look at her and they'd say, you want to have kids? Oh yeah, come right in. We will help you and support you. We will find a man for you.
So,
Run. Save yourself. Run.
if we enter a recession, where will be the best place to encounter a lot of young women?
Well, the clubs themselves have actually already entered a recession, so not there. Let's see. But you know what? I've been to a lot of churches lately that feel like nightclubs. So,
So, didn't you just say when a woman gets in has economic problems, he's going to find Jesus and go to the church? It could be in the next. They don't have money for gyms.
Yeah, they don't.
Or the discipline.
No, if they're really desperate, they're going to go to church and try and find a good traditional man to solve their problems.
Well, the traditional man should pay for everything, right? I mean, that's what we're.
Well, that's the
Steve, you just said
solution.
it 10 minutes ago, right? You just said it 10 minutes ago. The guy should have the money to pay for everything in the, in his account to pay for the family. Like we actually just said that.
It's actually very difficult these days,
Yeah.
especially with expectations.
So
This trip, that vacation, this fancy car, gotta have this certain type of food, and
oh yeah, been there, done that, have that T-shirt. Don't need to do it again. Particularly on my ex's favorites were vacations and food. Those were her. The car stuff she didn't care about as much. So, there is a red pill out there that does talk about these kinds of issues for men. We are not the popular punching bag for the MSM, and we know that, and that's fine. We are not out there saying all sorts of horrible things. Okay, Shu, I got to pull this one up.
I did it. I know.
Scamazon crime. I love it. Elena, are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening?
Oh, she knows that's about her.
Right.
But she's not alone.
No. So there is, but what I think is that is true is that most men, look, Steve, you said it before, most men are still going to get married. They are. So,
well, I wouldn't say most men, because a lot of men
want to.
Maybe
sorry.
most men won't. Most men want to. Many men will still get married. And you know what? I didn't think of this till just now. If we hit a recession, the women are going to show up in the churches. And oh man, if you are a man in the church and all these new women show up and you've not had success with women, and now all of a sudden they're paying attention to you.
Oh no.
Oh, it could be bad for the man.
For the men.
Because you are signing up.
Well, I've said this before, and I will say it again in this stream. Guys, we saw this in 2008. The women, 2009, 2010, they all got married. 2014, 15, 16 were big years for divorces. What do you think those women were doing in 08, 9, and 10? Oh yeah. They were shacking up. And the economy turns around. 2014, 15, 16 were actually pretty good years. High divorce rates. And they probably, and that's, you're talking about 5 years, 5-year average interval. That's enough to pop out 2 kids. And now you've got the state on your side.
What were they doing in the years leading up to 2008 through 2010?
Oh, Steve, there is an answer to this. 2007 through 2012 was the first quartile of the millennials graduating college and entering the workforce. So lots and lots of people graduated college and entered the workforce.
Yeah. While they were in college, were they what's that thing they talk about that carousel?
Oh,
were they riding a carousel?
they might have been doing that. Let's see. Let's think. Yes, they were. It was bad. I was in college at the time, and it was bad.
Yeah, and then so they moved from the adventurous phase to the purity phase.
Well, I think in 08 they would still have been in their. Well, let's see. It would depend on when they had graduated. They might have hit their epiphany phase early. Some of them would have had to hit it early, but that's not impossible. It's a range, not a hard number. Yeah,
It's a range, and it depends on their fertility and economic situations.
right. So you can hit your epiphany phase a little early, no problem.
So, yeah, okay, it's epiphany, but I'm saying it's the purity stage
Okay.
because their past, well, the past is in the past. They're not like that anymore. Especially if you find them in church. No, I've seen the light. I found Jesus, and my sins, my past has been forgiven, and now I'm like this. So now I'm marriageable.
Oh, Nick, what is it you're always saying about this? What is Pastor Nick always saying about this?
Yeah, you're forgiven, but you still have to deal with the earthly consequences.
Nick,
You're
they
not.
demand that the consequences be ignored, be damned, if you will.
Okay,
They demand
the
it.
Catholics have this concept too. There's spiritual consequences and temporal consequences. Temporal means earthly. Okay, the spiritual consequences, meaning going to hell, that's basically what it means. Okay, they're gone. Now you're saved, you're going to go to heaven. These are simple concepts. But the temporal consequences, you kind of messed up your life. The temporal consequences don't go away. And we've talked about this in the past. You need humility. You need to make maybe some restitution, and you need to have some penance or actually atonement, or do something to make up for the damage you did to others and yourself in the past. It just doesn't magically disappear. And it certainly doesn't disappear if you don't talk about it and you pretend, well, let's pretend that didn't happen. Uh-huh. That's the failed strategy for men and women. It's called repentance, and repentance is as much spiritual as it is earthly, temporal. You have to change your ways. Okay.
Okay, Shu. Now you've got me looking. I'm looking for where they said this. The reason I bring it up is because I think this is the next stage. I think this is sort of like the femcell type stuff. Well, like we
Call it
have
nunnery.
Well, I also think that it's women who are, for lack of a better term, exposed for still suffering from the temporal consequences. They say, "Oh, no, we're so holy now that we can't that nobody that oh, it's very likely phrased as we're so holy that we scare men away." I don't know which video Shu's referring to. I will go try and find it. But
that's not what I've seen.
okay, Shu, I will go look it up and find it just so that I have it in
They
the
don't
library
scare
of
men
things.
away. No, they still want the attention. That's a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of working based on what Shu is saying down here.
Yeah.
We don't have the video up, but we have talked about these women before, and the self-righteousness that just oozes out of their veins about their faith is ugh. ugh,
Do you-
vomit inducing.